I beat the shit out of my sister and sent her to the hospital. I, 26 male, beat the shit out of my sister, 23 female, for sexually harassing my boyfriend, 25 male. I can finally talk about this because all the legal proceedings have been dealt with. So I've been dating my boyfriend Mark for about 5 years. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's kind, smart, understanding, and absolutely beautiful. When we started dating, he was a bit closed off and was afraid to initiate any form of intimacy. I at first thought it was because I was his first relationship and maybe he was nervous. 6 months into us dating, he tells me that between the ages of 5 and 12, he was sexually assaulted and raped by his mother. His father left when he was around 4. It fucked him up in the head for a while, and when it got out, his mother was arrested. He and his 2 older sisters were put in the custody of their grandparents, who they lived with ever since. He was placed into intensive therapy and still goes to this day. He came a long way and was healed a lot, but he still has some days where he gets really depressed and cries. Part of his therapy was exercising, so about 2 years ago, he and I started doing some bodybuilding workouts. I toned up a lot, put 20 extra pounds of muscle on, and he toned up a bit. Because we've been dating for so long and have marriage in mind, he told my family a less detailed version, and they welcomed him with love and support. Now for my sister, Sally. I've suspected she's had a big crush on him. She'll flirt sometimes here and there, but he never reciprocated and usually ignored her. I've talked to her about it so many times, but she didn't listen. To make a long story short, I had gone out one Saturday afternoon with some friends to get some drinks and left Mark behind because he didn't feel like going. My sister had texted me prior to ask if she could borrow a few things from me: a sweatshirt, DSLR camera, a third thing that doesn't come to mind at the moment. I said sure and to get it whenever. She went when I was out, unknowingly. When I came home, I found my boyfriend on the ground crying his eyes out and my sister trying to calm him down. He was having a panic attack. It's never safe to touch him when he has an episode because he may act out violently due to his headspace. Her hands were all over him and he was trying to push her away. Her shirt was also on the ground and she was only in her bra. I tore her away and asked what the fuck she was doing. She said she was trying on the sweatshirt when he walked in on her, freaked out, and went into an episode. However, Mark, through his tears, said that she tried to touch him. I asked my sister if it was true, and she said no, but Mark again said she tried to touch him. I can't remember much because I was so angry, and I pointed it out to my sister. Her face went white, and I don't know what came over me, but I saw red. I can't remember if I was the one who called 911 or her through her beat-up state. I do remember kind of snapping out of it because Mark was still going through his episode. I could hear him cry louder. I had to help him through it all. It's all a haze. I broke my sister's nose, gave her a black eye, and bruised her ribs. She was in the hospital for a few days.
I got a paternity test because my kid looks strangely familiar. I, 37 male, got a paternity test and now my wife might divorce me over it. Help. My wife, 35 female, and I, 37 male, have been married for 12 years. We have 3 kids and I always had this nagging feeling that our middle child wasn't mine. Our oldest and youngest look just like me, but that middle child does not. My wife has shown me a picture of her grandfather, and he does look a lot like him, but he just doesn't have any of my family features. He looks so different than anyone else in the family. I decided I wanted a paternity test to put my mind at ease. My wife got pretty upset when I brought it up because cheating has always been a deal breaker for her, but I just saw that as all the more reason to get one done.
True.
I told her that if she had nothing to hide, she'd have no problem getting one done. And so I tested my son, and it turns out he's mine. I thought everything was fine. I had my peace of mind. I was chilling.
Oh.
Except she told me she was going to take the kids to go to her parents for a while. When I asked why, what could be going on, she exploded and told me that she was seriously considering divorcing me over this stunt.
Oh.
That she was furious with me for doubting her loyalty to me, knowing how she felt about cheating, and that she would never forgive me for what I put our son through, making him question his place in the family. This man is screwing up his whole life. I tried to get her to see my side, that I just wanted to be sure, and that surely she could see why I'd question it when he looks nothing like me. She told me she would never forgive me for this, and that I hoped my foolish pride was worth the cost of my family. She hasn't spoken to me since. I need advice on how to get her to talk to me and get her to see my side of the story, that it wasn't some attack on her character like she seems to think it was. I don't want a divorce. So it's been a couple months now, and I thought I'd update. My wife finally agreed to sit down with me after a couple weeks. And as some of you said, she does not want to stay with me. We talked, and basically it boiled down to she wants a divorce because I don't trust her and think so poorly of her character that I thought she'd pass another man's child off as mine. She then said she'll never forgive me for treating my son so importantly that he asked why I hated him. I didn't realize I treated him so differently, but apparently it was obvious. I tried to defend myself, but she asked what I meant then, because no matter how I tried to dress it up, I accused her of cheating and treated our son like trash because he wasn't my spitting image. She then brought up that she wondered if I was projecting because only one of us had infidelity in their background, and it wasn't her. That stung, because while yes, I had cheated in 2 past relationships, I've never cheated on her. I said that, but she said she'd never cheated at all. But that didn't stop me from accusing her of it, did it? So now my kids won't talk to me and my wife wants to divorce me, all over a silly little paternity test. Wife won't come with kids for Christmas. Help! I want to spend Christmas together, but my wife won't spend it with me. She said she'd split the day so I could see 2 of my kids. Not the third one. That doesn't look like him, just the 2. Man. But I want her and the third child to come too. She refuses to do this. I asked my son if he wanted to come see me and he said no. He'd stay with my wife. I said that she shouldn't continuously be punishing me for getting a paternity test and that the kids deserve to spend time with the full family unit. She said our son deserves to spend time around someone who doesn't act in a way that makes him feel like I hate him.
Yoinks.
I tried to argue being a full family unit again would be good for everyone. I said we could try to reconcile since I still don't want a divorce. And I think she should give me another chance. Oh, do you, buddy? She said no and offered to split the day again. That was it. How can I convince her to come spend the day with me? I need advice on how to get my wife to talk to me.
No.
Help, please.
Am I the asshole for getting my boyfriend arrested? I'll just get straight into it. I'm a college student and this was my last semester until medical school. I've never been able to get a loan and I've worked for 5.5 years to get this degree because I have to pay out of pocket, so it takes way longer. I've worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs at a time and barely had a social life. For this upcoming semester, I reached my goal for tuition, so I quit one of my jobs so I could relax a bit. I was a server/bartender at 2 bars and had an office job, so I always have cash hidden in my apartment in my closet in a box. And before the semester starts, a week or 2 before, I deposit it so I can pay my tuition. My boyfriend sometimes stays over when I'm there and when I'm not. Since I've been saving for this semester, he's the only one who's been over and I've never told him about the box, but he knows I have to pay for school. Well, yesterday night I get home and put money in the box because I was planning on depositing it today and it's all gone. I freaked out and tore my apartment up thinking I put it somewhere else knowing I didn't. I called my boyfriend like crazy and no answer. I didn't sleep last night and I was panicking. Then this morning he finally called me back and I'm yelling at him about my money and he's acting all confused and like I'm crazy. He comes over but I'm still pissed off, and after a while he finally admits that he took it so he can borrow it and he'll pay me back. Where the F is he going to get $14,000 from in 2 weeks? I went into a rage and called the police and reported a theft because that's what he did. Well, it's been hours now and I guess he got his phone call because his family has been blowing up my phone and his mother has said some really hurtful and racist things to me. They've been harassing me for the past 6 hours now and it's stressing me out even more, and I hate the fact that I feel bad for him, but he stole my money that I've been saving for months. His brother did call and he was respectful and said they'll help him pay it back and I should just go to the police station with him and tell him I want to drop the charges, but I don't really believe them. I could do that and never get the money back still. I don't know what to do and I hate that I'm contemplating doing this. I'm just really pissed off and I've been crying all fucking day.
Karen refuses to believe that I'm blind and steals my guide dog. Should I have her arrested? You know, it's actually sad how often this sort of thing happens. I mean, being a blind girl, instances of ignorant people are daily, but entitled parents represent a certain level of infamy for me. But this one just happened. So, hey, why not make myself feel better by making you guys read about my misfortune? So since my parents are more at risk from COVID, I've been going shopping alone more and more during the pandemic. Yesterday was one of those cases. Grocery shopping is more involved process for a blind person. I have to ask a staff member to assist me. I also have my guide dog Gumbo inside with me. The dog itself increases the instances of bad experiences. Now, during my shopping, I always get a wide array of reactions to my dog, but one in particular occurred towards the end of my shopping. I heard loud footsteps, followed by the loud screech of, "That doggy's so cute, can I pet him?" It was obviously a small child by the voice, so I prepared myself before responding that no, my dog cannot not be touched due to him being my guide dog. This dog is literally my eyes. Surprisingly, the child didn't act entitled, but seemed surprised and excited about a dog having a job. She, I believe it was a she, asked me a few questions and then left. I thought nothing of it and continued with my shopping. After I finished, I decided to stop by the food court on my way out for some lunch, so I went and made my way across the supermarket. I ordered my food, sat down, and waited. But by some cosmic gracing of bad luck, that is the exact moment the child and their parent decided to walk close by. I heard the child tell the mother about what I told her, about how my dog is working as a guide dog, that I'm blind and use him to get around, etc. The mother isn't really saying anything, but I can sort of tell by her tone and a few words she does say that she's seeing some issue with what her daughter was told. I decide to listen in, and after the daughter finished her babbling, the mother came up to me. The first words out of her mouth were, "Why did you tell my daughter that you're blind?" Her tone was very harsh, very accusatory. I immediately knew what was coming, but as usual, I put on a smile. Because I'm blind, your daughter asked me about my dog, so I explained what guide dogs are and why we use them. You're not blind. My cousin is blind, so I know what a blind person looks like. You shouldn't lie about that. I think you should let my daughter pet your dog. Well, ma'am, not all blind people are the same. Just because you know a single blind person doesn't mean you know how all blind people are. And as I already explained, your daughter can't pet my dog due to him being a seeing eye dog. Why are you lying? Your eyes are completely fine. Just look at me. You look at a phone. Why would you lie about this? Excuse me, but I'm not lying. My eyes looking fine have nothing to do with anything. Not every blind person's eyes look the same. Look, you're stressing me out. Can you just leave me alone? Entitled mom. My daughter wants to pet your dog. She's been well behaved all day, and it's more than reasonable to let her pet your dog. I said no. I don't know why you can't just accept my answer. You said no using a BS excuse. You're honestly starting to piss me off. I don't know who you think you are, but I happen to work for, I can't remember who she mentioned. And if you don't stop it, I'll get security to throw you and your fake dog out of this establishment right now. Now, I'm sure you get the picture. This went on for a good 5 minutes of her progressively getting more and more angry at the fact I wouldn't let her daughter pet my dog. The daughter was actually silent through the whole thing, probably embarrassed. I don't think she even cared that much at that point. The entitled mother, however, was another story. Eventually, she screamed out, "That's it! I'm going to get security! If you're smart, you'll be gone by the time I get back, or you'll regret it." I snorted at her small fit and heard her huff and puff and storm off. By that time, my food had arrived, so I started eating. I didn't really believe she'd go to security, but with entitled parents, you can never be sure. About 5 minutes or so went by of me eating. I was enjoying my fries, delectable. I was browsing Reddit in bliss, but of course she returned back for revenge. And I heard her stomping from 15 feet away, and she was raging onto an apparent security guard. Entitled mother. "Look, that's her. You see? She's sitting there with a dog. She says it's a guide dog, but she's blind. You have to kick her out right now." I sighed and removed an earbud to prepare for the oncoming ordeal. A deep male voice sounded from a few feet in front of me. Miss, is this your service dog?" Me, yes, it is a seeing eye dog. I am allowed to take him in here. I have a copy of the appropriate law if you need it. "No, that's fine. I know service dogs are allowed. This woman is saying you aren't disabled. Is that true?" Me, no, she's just angry that I didn't let her daughter touch my dog. I honestly don't know why she cares. "It's because you're a liar. I have a blind cousin. Don't try to tell me I don't understand blind people, because I do." I directed my attention to the security guard. I've tried to explain to her that one blind person doesn't represent all blind people, but she doesn't seem to get it. Could you please ask her to leave me alone? I just want to eat in peace. "So, ma'am, are you blind?" Me, yes, I am. "Sorry, but can you prove it in any way?" No. How can I do that, and why? "Well, it's just because she's saying one thing and you're saying another thing. I don't know exactly who to believe. Why is it exactly that you think she's lying? Are you serious? Look at her eyes. They're not white and cloudy like blind people's. She's literally looking at her phone." Ma'am, what's your response?" Maybe her cousin has those eye symptoms, but not every blind person does. Those symptoms are caused by diseases like cataracts, which I don't have. As for the phone, devices have been accessible to the blind for years. I find it surprising she has a cousin who is blind and doesn't know that. But wait, there's more. No, I saw you looking at the phone. I have basic light perception. I can detect light. I direct my eyes to it out of habit because that's where my hands are occupied. Look, it's not my job to educate you people on what you don't know. I spoke to the guard. Please just ask her to leave me alone. I don't care if she doesn't believe me. You don't need to stand here and mediate back and forth as if we're going to agree. I just like her to stop talking to me and leave me in peace. I'm feeling extremely harassed. Yeah, I get that. It's just that I can't know for sure you're blind, so she might have a valid point. What? That applies to every blind person. How can anyone prove that? If she has no reasons for me lying, then shouldn't you just give me the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. She said her cousin is blind. She probably knows something about it. I paused for a second. Wow, I'm not even going to bother. Look, if you're not going to get away from me, then I'm going to leave. Thanks for failing to protect a disabled person. I stood up to leave and my dog got up to guide me. I took a few steps and suddenly felt someone grab hold of my harness handle and pull me to a stop. I said I wanted to let my daughter pet that dog. Then you can leave. No, get off my harness. Get off. Now, understand, grabbing my harness is akin to someone taking away your eye. She was impeding my means of navigating through the world, so I panicked. I attempted to pull my harness handle back, all the while screaming, "Get off, let go, help!" The security guard was fumbling around, fairly uselessly. Eventually, another security guard hurried over, and I heard him bark out, "What's going on? She's taking my guide dog. Help me. She won't let me go." "No, she's supposed to let my daughter pet her dog. He said so." The guard didn't respond, but the way the conversation went, it seemed like he non-verbally indicated that he hadn't said that. "Miss, let go of the lady's dog right now, or I'll have to escort you out." "No, she's not even blind. The dog isn't real. Don't just jump in and assume you know what's going on." "Please just get her off me. I want to leave. I don't feel safe." "Hey, you're all right, miss. Everything is going to be fine." I then felt a woman's hand being forcibly removed from the harness handle. As soon as I was free, I immediately commanded Gumbo to lead me to the exit. We walked quickly. I heard the woman screeching loudly behind me. I was still somewhat panicked, but I was able to calm myself as I hurried towards the exit. It really stuck with me for a couple of days. But the worst part is that these type of interactions are almost a daily occurrence. Blind people are the targets of constant harassment in public. This woman just went farther physically by assaulting me. I know I could have and should have gotten her arrested, but honestly, I was just so panicked. I wanted to get out of that situation ASAP. Why am I telling this story? In short, I'm spreading awareness. It's important for people to know more about blind experience and what blind people have to deal with. It's super important to say, if you've ever witnessed a situation like I just described, intervene. Had that second guard not intervened for me, the situation could have gotten a lot worse. So I appreciate any upvotes on this post to help spread awareness. And I didn't even get to...
Am I the asshole for filing a complaint about a hospital worker trying to touch my baby? Yesterday I had a doctor's appointment that I had to bring my 7-month son with. Appointment went fine, but afterwards I had to head downstairs to the lab to get some blood drawn. While I'm waiting in line to check in, another woman walks up to me and starts asking about my son. Boy or girl? How old is he? Meanwhile, he is in a stroller sleeping with a blanket over the whole front so it's darker and gives off the chill sleep vibes inside the stroller. This woman proceeded to lift up the blanket to peek inside at my son. Immediately responded with, in a slightly annoyed tone, "He's sleeping right now. He's been having a rough time with naps during the day, so he was very cranky earlier," which is mom code for "don't wake up my baby, don't touch my baby." Right after I told this lady that he was sleeping, she looked up at me and said, "Oh, okay," really fast in a hushed tone, then continued to try to stick her hand further in the stroller under the blanket, like she was just going to be quiet now instead of taking the hint. So at that point, I was mad and snapped, "Don't touch my baby, I don't know you, and I already said he is sleeping." She had the nerve to tell me it was okay because she worked there at the hospital. That just made me even more mad, so I asked her, "So then are you here to draw my blood too since you work here and you can do everything?" She then said how rude that was and how she just wanted to congratulate me on my baby. She told me that it was a shame motherhood didn't turn me into a sweet person who wanted to show off and brag about my baby like it does for everyone else. As she walked away, the counter opened up for me to check in, and I asked to file a complaint about her being so rude and trying to touch my baby. The woman at the counter said I could and would give me the info I needed for that. Then asked if I was sure I wanted to complain because lots of people like touching babies here. Usually the mom isn't super upset about it. I was literally flabbergasted that she would say that to me, so I turned around and left the whole goddamn hospital because I feel like I could cause a nuclear breakdown coming. I called the hospital later and explained what happened and that I needed to reschedule. The woman on the phone apologized on behalf of the hospital and said she would file the complaint for me. Now that I've simmered down, I do sort of feel like a Karen-ish because I've never filed a complaint about anyone before. but I'm still so mad about the way they talked to me at the clinic.
Am I the asshole for bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant when she conveniently always forgets it? My 28 female, sister-in-law female 26, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel and always wants to go to expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or domes up with some excuses as to why she can't pay her share. She has implied that since I make much more money than her, I should be the one to pay. No, not my husband should pay, but me specifically. I do make a fair amount of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I have just paid a bill and asked her to pay me back, and she never has. She had made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it clear that I wouldn't be paying her bill. This is where I might be the asshole, and I'll admit I got this move straight from the episode of 2.5 Men. As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I found her wallet sitting right on top of her suitcase. I put it in my purse and we went to the restaurant. When we were done eating, I asked for a separate bill. She said no, we need one bill because she forgot her wallet again. I reached in my purse and said, "This wallet?" She was extremely furious and she said that I should not have touched or grabbed her wallet. So, am I the asshole for taking her wallet and bringing it to the restaurant? Amy just called me and she saw this post. She yelled at me for bad-mouthing her on the internet. Honestly, I don't care. Amy, hopefully reading all these comments is a wake-up call for you.
Uncle made fun of me for not graduating high school and called my mom a whore, so I took away his business, marriage, kids, and freedom. So this story happened a few years ago back in 2016 when I was in my senior year of high school. Excuse my spelling mistakes, English is not my first language. BTW, this is a repost. This post was up yesterday, but I had to delete it to make it more easy to read and fix grammar mistakes that I have missed. P.S. Thank you for everyone who already read the story and pointed my wall of text mistake. It's really my first Reddit post and I will be doing better next time. Hope this time this will be more enjoyable to read and tickle your revenge needs for the day. I will start with some infos about the victim of this story, or in better terms the asshole that got what he deserved in the end. My dad has 3 siblings, all older than him and all equally shitty human beings. They bullied my dad for years and made his childhood hell after their parents divorced due to him being slightly darker in skin tone than them. Grandma is white, grandpa is brown-skinned. They were abusive racist fucks, and the worst of them was my older uncle, which he was a big bully and a snob that saw himself better than anyone else. All the bullying and the bad treatment fucked up my dad mentally so much that he became a raging alcoholic, which made my life a living hell as a result till I moved out 2 years ago and caused me many traumas that I am still dealing with till this day. Anyways, in my country, the most important year in your life is your last high school year. It ends with a nationwide exam that determines if you even can go to university or not, and the success rate in this exam is fairly low. Basically, if you fail, it's either you drop out and move to low-paying jobs that will never amount to anything due to our country's bad and declining economic state, or you just keep repeating till you get your degree and go to a university that you don't even want to be in, but at least it's a safety net that can get you out of the country hopefully one day. Things did not go well for me due to family issues and me having undiagnosed ADHD at the time that was causing me a lot of academic problems at the time without me knowing the cause, which in turn gave me some sort of depression. Goes without saying that year ended up in me failing, and due to the importance of that exam, people saw it as a shame and kind of a big letdown. Needless to say, due to the long introduction, my family never had a relationship with my uncles, especially that they looked down on us due to my father being an alcoholic and us being dirt poor, which made them think less of us. Bear in mind they stole all my what dad inherited from his father, including a house and a piece of land that could have lifted us at least to a mid-class level. Long and behold, my big uncle that I last saw him when I was 7 came to visit us 3 days after the failing of my diploma. I already did not like the guy after all the stories that I heard about him, and his visit felt weird, like he had no business being around us at all, and somehow he came uninvited. My mom sat him down and started making the usual small talk, and then she called me saying that he wanted to say hi. I went, and the conversation went as follows. "Uncle, oh look how much you've grown up. It's been a while since I've seen you. You look just like your dad. The apple does not fall far from the tree after all. Even in terms of being a successful person, you're following his footsteps." Letting after that the most loud and sarcastic evil laugh ever. Me: "What you mean by this?" Uncle: "Well, I heard you failed your high school. Guess this branch of the family is bound to be the loser side." Me: "I guess you better shut your mouth and fuck off. No one want to hear anyways." Uncle: "Guess your whore mom did not raise you well. What did I expect from hood rats like you?" After that, things devolved into a shouting match and he left. After what happened, I was mad for a while. I couldn't forget the humiliation, and I decided that one day I will exact some revenge, and I started plotting. I did some digging till I discovered that all his business and assets are on his wife's name, and he basically owns nothing due to him committing tax fraud and ripping off his former business associate out a lot of money before declaring bankruptcy and transferring the money and everything he owns to his wife to evade taxes. I came to contact with former employees that agreed to testify if this shit ever came to court, due to him being a shitty human being overall and treating them like absolute trash while they worked for him. Move forward a few months, and trust me, Reddit, I made this account just to tell this story because what happened later was basically a gift from the gods that helped this story go from pro-revenge to nuclear real quick. I couldn't even hope for a better outcome than this. He came to our house again to speak to my dad because he wanted to make a golden custom ring for his daughter in her 10th birthday. My dad is a jeweler. While he is in our house, he called out for me asking for a phone charger because his phone is dying, and at that moment I almost jumped from glee. It's my chance to get his phone and dig around. Maybe I can find any documents or emails that can be used later in the police case I was assembling against him. I told him I don't have a brick, but I can charge his phone with a cable from my laptop. Him not knowing any better, like the boomer he is, he gave me the phone without batting an eye. His phone had a passcode and asking for it was too suspicious, so my plan to check his email went down the drain, but still I removed his SD card, put it in my laptop and copied all his files, charged his phone and gave it back. He eventually left and boom, locked my room and started to check all the files. I found nothing at all, but as soon as I was giving up I found a well-hidden file with few videos on it, and then I struck gold. A full-blown tape of him with another woman with his face fully available, clear as daylight, and I was literally singing to myself from excitement. The revenge. For a few weeks I made a Facebook account, made it look like it's his mistress's account, made a bunch of other accounts that looked like friends and family commenting and interacting with her. After that I added his wife and texted her saying that I am her husband's mistress. She did not believe me at first until I gave her too much personal infos that I knew about him for her to keep not believing me. Told her that he lied and said they were divorced and promised me marriage. She requested to talk to me on the phone. Made a female friend help out by landing her voice. She was destroyed and I sent her the sex tape as proof. After that she filed for divorce immediately and sued him for infidelity, which lost him custody and visitation rights for his girl. She took everything from him, even the house and all his money and assets, that they were on her name. Overnight he became homeless with 0 pennies to his name, but that was not enough for me. I met up with his former business partner through a former employee who especially hated my uncle's guts and told him everything, and that the employees are willing to testify against him in court, and he agreed to filing a lawsuit. The cherry on the top came when his ex-wife testified that he threatened her safety and her kids' safety if she did not let him put the assets on her name by force, and she literally pulled out phone recordings that she had of him being abusive and him saying that he will kill them all if she did not let him, basically use her as a tax evasion tool, and that she was scared to use these due to her fear for her children's safety. Due to their previous divorce case, the judge needed to hear no more. That man got hit by 15 years in jail so fast that he couldn't even comprehend what happened before he was on his way to the slammer. He will never see his family again. He will never have his fortune back. Just to rub some more insult to injury, I visited him a year ago and I just said one sentence: "This would have never happened if you just did not call me a loser," and left. The look on his face while he pieced everything together almost cured my depression. I never told my involvement in this story to a soul except my little sister, my female friend that helped me, and now you read it, but I had to make him know just to be able to finally sleep at night.
So I'm in it from the back, right? And I'm like, something's different about this time. Like, she's throwing it back a little more viciously than usual. So I'm like, is she mad at me? Anyways, I have to find out. So I back out, she's like, what? I'm like, relax. I go grab towels, grab waters, come back. I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, is everything okay with you? And I was like, I know you're angry. I could feel it in your gyrations. And she's like, I hate you. I was cheering her up. I was like, I hate me too, but like, what's going on? She's like, that girl with the fat ass we were talking about? I was like, yes. She was like, you weren't supposed to agree that she had a fat ass. And I was like, but she did. Like, what do you want me to lie? And what do you want me to say? And she was like, just not that. She's like, I'm sorry I brought it up, but like, I was like, no. I was like, I didn't mean to offend you. I was like, if I knew it would have offended you, I would not have said that. I'm so sorry. Like, you're really important to me. I apologize for being negligent of your feelings in this certain scenario. She's like, that's so sweet. I was like, we were like, everything was going great. But then I kept talking. I was like, yeah, she wanted to come over tonight, but I said no, because I wanted to see you. And she was like, wait, you know her? And I was like, yeah. Like, why do you think I knew her ass was fat? Like, I wasn't theorizing. Like, I learned on the job that her ass was fat, but me and her don't have what me and you have. So